Yeah.
She never sold. In fact, she bought the first Bitcoin for a couple $1,000. The next day, she lost 8% and she sold it all. And that was like the first day she bought. And then she's like, you know what? I actually think this thing's going to do something. So she bought more the next day and she never sold. It went to $50 million. So it's basically a 49.99%, or 49 million,
increase,
number.
but over what time?
Okay. So I think that was over 7 years. Okay. I'll think of the exact dates. And so now, same thing. Legality, is it real? Is it legal? What's the track record? Am I getting in trouble with the IRS? Is it safe? But her outcome was her college roommate, they're starting a brand new startup business. Right? That's been her dream. She didn't want to work for a corporate tech company forever. So guess what? She retired from Google and she's starting the tech company. Okay. So the outcome for her was transformational, right? Which is, I'm hoping people are catching this. It's not just, hey, we're deferring millions of tax. That's really cool. But it's really, what does that enable you to do, right? Some people just sleep well at night. I mean, I say she has a steel spine because the marketplace, even in Bitcoin, has been a wild ride. And to be able to not sell when you put in $20,000 to $50,000 in something that's worth $50 million. By the way, she didn't sell all $50 million. She's like, no way. I still think it's going to go. Now I think it's around $60,000 a coin. She goes, I think it's going to go to $100,000 a coin. Okay, she's pretty confident in that. She goes, I want to sell the minimum I need to start my startup, which was $5 million. So she sold 5 of the $50 million into the deferred sales trust, and then we'll be doing another like $1.5 million January 1st for some tax purpose reasons for that. And that enables her to do this startup company, and it's an educational online business, which is really cool, educating the younger generation on through online, and it's a multinational, multicultural type of company. Really cool stuff. So, anyways, I'll pause there and see what you think, Mitch. Or any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So, I've always said this: it's really not about the money; it's about the freedom and to become who you're supposed to be. So, for some people, it's like, yeah, I want to sit down and do nothing. For a lot of people, like if they sat down and do nothing, it's going to kill them, or they don't know how to sit down and do nothing. So it's like on to the next phase. It allows people to have a higher reason than just go to work to survive or to make money or to work for retirement. Now there's a higher reason. Go out and help some other people. There's an idea. Go help some other people move beyond their limiting beliefs and go be what they're supposed to be.
I 100% agree. I call it the success or the fulfillment formula, right? Which is identifying that one or two gifts. Some people call them superpowers. People call them strengths. I think they're God-given gifts. And they've been given us and invested in us, right? And blessed with that to be a blessing to others, which is the second part of the equation. How do you use that gift to go bless other people? And then the one in the middle that you really want to focus on, which is that time piece. And when you have that time, to be able to maximize the potential of that gift, where most people are stuck, and where I was stuck for many years, maybe you too, Mitch, was if you're stuck just trading time for dollars versus trading, having money work for you, right, to give you time, then you can focus on, it's like those people who are like, the fittest people, they spend like 6-7 hours in the gym. And maybe that's, if they're like an Arnold Schwarzenegger and they're doing that thing, that's cool, right? But they have that time to be able to do that. Somehow they've unlocked that, or their parents did, or whatever, right?
Somebody unlocked it, right? Because it takes time. You don't look like those people on accident,
Yeah, but Bill Gates, right? He's probably I think the richest man in the world, right? Biggest company in the world. But he gives back. He gives back, and he does these causes to try to solve big challenges of the world, right? Why? Well, part of it, he has unlimited time if he wants to. He never has to work anymore. He can go do those things. So that's the transformation. That's what we're trying to do. And there's really kind of two sides of the aisle here. We actually do help the government, but realize the government, a lot of them, they want to spend your money pretty quick, right? But there's a lot of them too that say, look, if we can help people invest these funds in startup companies that create more jobs and more education and spur economic growth, right? That'll create more jobs and more tax revenue in the long run. And if we can connect these two parties in a way that's fair and that's equitable for the taxpayer as well as for the government from their perspective, it's a win-win. And so that's why we love it, and that's why we're here trying to help people out.
Okay, so I want everyone to go to 1000houses.com/defer tax. Okay, defer tax, and you're going to be giving away a free ebook called "Sell Your Real Estate, Business, or Cryptocurrency Smarter." That's the name of the book. Sell Your Real Estate, Business, or Cryptocurrency Smarter, and learn about tax deferred trust. If you get over there to 1000houses.com/defer tax, it's going to take you over to the show notes, and over there you'll have a chance to hook up with Brett and his company, his websites, whatever he wants to put over there. You'll have everything you need over there, even to get a consult with him. If you want to, the problem is with these tax deferred trusts, you got to get kind of ahead of it. You got to set them up. There's some legal things, some paperwork has to be done. It doesn't happen in 5 seconds. So you have to, if you know you're headed toward a windfall, you got to get ahead of the curve. You got to set this thing up maybe a few months in advance, at least. You know what I mean? Is that right? How long do they need to set up in advance?
Yeah, you're correct. I mean, we've done deals in a week, or 14 days, or even shorter amount of times. But here's the thing: no one likes the fire drill, and no one likes to rush into a marriage, right? This is a long-term gig. Like, I'm a third-party, unrelated trustee. Part of why this thing works is you don't know me, right? I'm not your brother. I'm not your employee. Like, I'm separated from you, Mitch, right? So, or anyone else that's listening. And if you're my brother, sorry, brother, I can't do the deal for you, right? Because you're related to me, right? It
has to be an arm's length transaction.
It has to be true. And it can't be like a college roommate. It can't be the best man in your wedding. Like, if it's too close, the IRS says, no, that's a sham. You guys are just doing a sham business thing to do this thing. No, I'm in it for business purpose, and I can make a profit, right? And we charge fees. So these are all things. But that being said, there's a know, like, and trust factor that you got to build up. Now, part of that, we do YouTube channel, we do our podcast, we do these all the time to try to get people to really get to understand who we are, what we're about, our values, our clients, our partners out there, right? We're there. We're trying to make it very simple and very straightforward. But you got to get to know the banks. That's not just me. You got to know the financial advisor. We work with financial advisors across the U.S. You get to know the investments. Like, this is big, right? This is big. It's a big part of what we do. So the sooner you can get with us, the better. Why? Because you separate the emotion from selling from the emotion of the exit plan. I'll say that again. You separate the emotion from selling from the emotion of the exit plan. And what I like to say is, if you can underwrite the exit plan first, get all the box checks on the emotional part of it, on the legal part of it, on the logic part of it, then go sell the asset, right? Negotiate, list it, M&A advisors, business brokers, right? Go through it.
I never thought of that. I never thought about what you just said. Selling your business, your lifelong work, or whatever, or that family farm from the family or whatever, it can be very emotional. What's really cool, like he said, if you get out ahead of that, you know what's going to happen someday, maybe the next 2 or 3 years, or you're not sure, but it's in your future. It's looming. Nice time to go set up the boxes when you're not emotionally tied up from this very personal proposition of separating from something that maybe you spent a lifetime building, or that it's been in your family for generation after generation.
100%.
I think that's really key.
Yeah, 100%. It's I started at Marcus and Melchap selling investment real estate properties, multifamily, grew up in the real estate business. And what we found, especially we learned from our mistakes and our challenges with our clients in the 1031 exchange, you're often forced to do the exit plan and the next plan with the sale, and then it's all compressed in this 45-day window upon sale, and you're racing for the 180 days. And that creates a lot of poor decisions or just a lot of stress. And that's part of why Blockbuster 1031 exchanging is not the best plan for most people, especially when values are so sky high, right? And things could change, right, with the economy.
Yeah, let's say this like this. 1031 exchange. The problem with them is that you're selling because the prices are high. That's why you're selling. But the problem is they only give you this much time to reinvest it. And guess what? The prices are still high. So you're supposed to sell high and buy low. And you can't do that in a 1031 exchange all the time, because you're trying to compress the buy and the sell and the buy within 180 days or whatever. Right. I mean, that's not a lot of time for a market to move. In a tax deferred trust, like Brett's talking about, you can sell and just put the money over there and just wait. Just wait till whatever you're particularly looking for comes along, or till you find the right deal, or until the economy turns on its own and it gets a lot easier to find things, So
absolutely. In fact, that's why I started the company, right? In fact, in 2006, before the crash, and I call this the Monday morning quarterback, Mitch. Like it's the most beautiful deal, right? He dropped back and he played it perfect. He thought something was on the horizon. He wasn't sure it was going to be a 2008 crash, but this gentleman owned about $250 million of commercial real estate in Minnesota. And he's looking at, I'm either going to pay the tax on the sale of a $20 million asset. I'm not going to do a 1031 exchange, but let me maybe try this deferred sales trust thing out. So he sold, deferred all the tax into the deferred sales trust, put it into very conservative stocks, bonds, and mutual funds that wasn't subject to the huge crash of '08. You can do that too, by the way. That's another secret that a lot of real estate people don't realize, that you can hedge and protect your funds in the stock market, right? It's not all bad. And 5 years later, guess what? The bank calls him back and says, hey, you know that crazy 1031 buyer who bought your property? He goes, yeah, he overpaid for it. He goes, yeah, well, we just foreclosed on it.
And we're going to buy it all back for 50.
And we're just curious. We thought it might be a logical thing. Do you want to buy back your old property that you sold? Well, maybe. What's the price? He said. He said, well, about 40% less than what you had sold it for. He goes, that sounds like a pretty good deal. I can make that deal. He goes, let me go talk with and get the trust funds, situated. So they formed a brand new LLC, and this is the beauty of the deferred sales trust. You can partner with the trust. And on this active real estate deal, he bought the property back at 60 cents on the dollar. Okay. All tax deferred. Okay. So he sold high and he bought low. He did what our parents taught us to do. Why? Because the deferred sales trust gave him time, right? And this is why it's the Netflix versus Blockbuster, right? You don't have to show up on a Friday night and guess if your movie's rented or have to return it within 3 days. You can show up whenever you want, turn it on. Now there's some ongoing fees. Yeah, we get paid, right? But it's never not rented out, right? You can diversify, you can get liquidity, you can do active real estate, you can start a new business, and it works for cryptocurrency. So yeah, that's.
So I've seen the fees. I've seen what it looks like. This is what I say to people that are a bulk of the. If you have a better plan, go ahead and pull the trigger, because you don't. That's what I say. I mean, and the man's got to get paid, and so, but it's laughable. What you pay for what you can receive. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like, you can't do it yourself. You can't go take a course on how to set up your own tax-deferred trust. It'll never happen. I mean, someone's already done it. Just pay the man for what he does and receive these huge benefits in the forms of, in some cases, like this guy, millions upon millions, for a fee. You look at, all right, this is how much I'm paying and this is how much I'm keeping. Okay, let's do it.
Yep. And just on that point, this is also why we have our minimum of $1 million net proceeds, $1 million gain, right? So if you bought crypto for $50,000, you're selling for $150,000, we're not your guys, right? Because we charge our fees and our fees eat up the savings and it's too small. But if you bought crypto for $50,000 and it's worth $1,050,000, it's $1 million gain, $1 million net proceeds, unless you have two properties or two assets that are worth $500,000 each that you can combine into one trust, which you can do that. Like, let's say you had, XRP at $500,000, it's a $500,000 gain, and you had like Bitcoin at $500,000, a $500,000 gain, right? Net proceeds, net gain, and that two combined into one, you can do that. So when we see that, it becomes a home run for all parties, right? So we're happy to give you a no-cost analysis on that too, to make it make sense for you.
Cool. So we're going to take a little sidestep. I'm going to ask Brett a personal question. You don't have to answer, but what do you invest in?
Yeah, so I grew up, fortunately, to learn from my mom and dad in cash flow, value add real estate, whether it be new development or whether it be multifamily rentals. And I fell in love with it at a young age, swinging the hammer, driving in the Bobcat with my dad, seeing the project from start to finish, and then seeing the cash flow that it can produce, right? As well as then going to college and studying business, and then going to Marcus and Millichap and studying multifamily investing and learning about depreciation and 1031 exchanges. And so it's always been my biased focus and opinion is multifamily value add real estate. But a couple of sisters to that, I also invest in mobile home parks and also invest into senior housing assisted living. Those are my three favorite. I've also done some industrial and some office, medical office. I was a part of a deal in Arizona where it was a 50% built after the foreclosure market in 2010 retail center that we bought really low. We were able to sell really high and finish the construction. So it's real estate first. I also have some holdings in the stock market because I worked with an amazing financial advisor who's my business partner. And so I have some holdings there as well. So that's kind of my take, Mitch. I also have a light thing in crypto. Okay, not a lot.
You're very diversified. You like the game, but what I hear you say is you were raised on and hang your hat on cash flow real estate. So
correct, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else we need to know before maybe we wrap it up? Sometimes as the host of the show, you will know way more most of the time. You know way more about the topic than I do. So did we cover it well? Did we leave anything out?
Yeah, we covered it well. I would also just talk. We're not just talking to the individual investor. We're also talking to the CPA who's listening to this, the financial advisor, the M&A advisor, the business broker, the commercial real estate agent or broker, the luxury realtor. We have a coaching program. We have a lot of free education. Our goal is to empower 100,000 business professionals, the best of the best, the top 5% who are dealing in ultra high net worth clients and helping them out in the next 10 years. And we want to give all of our secrets as much as we can to you because guess what? As soon as your client sells, we get the calls. Hey, I just sold to so-and-so. He didn't even know about this. And I just paid $3 million of tax. Can you help? And I say, I'm sorry, we can't. It's too late. Or I just removed all contingencies on the deal and we're closing in 2 days. Can you help? I'm saying, no, we can't. Now, unless you're in a 1031 exchange, we can help that, but that's a small sliver. Then we can save a failed 1031. So if you're listening to this and you want a backup plan, you should never go out, like Warren Buffett says, you find out who's been skinny dipping when the tide goes out, right? You don't want your 45-day tide to come back in. And all of a sudden you're left with nothing except for bad properties or no options. So the deferred sales trust, you want to work with our strategic alliances or 1031 exchange accommodators who will give you all options, the Delaware Statutory Trust, the 1031, and the deferred sales trust. Okay. So get with us early, get educated, get empowered, and go make a big difference for your clients and their families' lives.
There you go. All right. I would like to thank everyone for stopping by to get you some Brett Swarts. Brett Swarts, there you go. Got tongue tied there. And I'd like to thank livecom.com for sponsoring this episode. Livecom, LIVECOMM.com. Check it out. It's smartphone numbers, lead generations, text messaging, works great in CRMs. I have used Livecom in my business for now the last 5 years. I average 4 days on the market on my houses for sale. I put no signs in my yards. I have very little cost to sell a house, and there's 100 different ways to use this. That's just one way that I've used it. Go to livecom.com, LIVECOMM.com, and check out the videos on the homepage and get a feel for how I am using this incredible technology, simple technology, to do incredible things and to change all my numbers, my bottom line, my days on market, what it costs to reach a customer, and how targeted I can get a customer. For 2 cents, I can hit my main customer right between the eyes. And it's a 96% open rate. So check it out, livecom.com. Let's give that link one more time.
Oh, yeah.
1000houses.com/defer tax. You'll get a free ebook titled Sell Your Real Estate Business or Cryptocurrency Smarter. Do that, please. Get your hands on it. We'll see you later.
Bye now.
Bye.